Welcome back to another video, and today I'm doing a video on the most annoying new car trends. About interiors. This is number one on the list, the first one that I'm going to be showing you, and probably the least annoying, and it is the lack of interior color choices. This is a pamphlet from a 2010 Toyota Prius, and in the 2010 Toyota Prius, you could have a gray, black, or tan leather interior. Those color interiors just aren't there anymore. So let's look at an example. This is the 2010 base Toyota Prius with the gray cloth interior. This is the 2010 Toyota Prius with a black cloth interior. This is a 2010 Toyota Prius that I have. I have a 2012, but, similar differences, a lot of similarities because they're the same car. And this is the tan leather interior. Also in the mix, usually, when you're buying an older car, is walnut. There's also a walnut option of leather somewhere in there, especially if it's a luxury car. So why aren't we seeing these anymore? I've been to a dealership before, and they just don't have these color options. It's either gray or black. That's like you can't get walnut, and you can't get, tan anymore. There's no more tan, there's no more walnut. And you could say it's because it looks dated, but I think this actually looks better and more inviting than the other options. And there's actually, this thing on if it's black, send it back. And we're talking about car interiors here. And seriously, the black interiors are just ugly. Why are the black interiors so ugly? First of all, if everything's black in your car interior, there's no difference, right? The only difference is texture, right? In the tan interior, there's contrast between the lovely silver dashboard, the beautiful tan plastic, the nice tan leather stitching, and the gray plastics, and everything works together to be like a symphony, right? Think of like a Google Pixel with the different colors, right? That orange and green power button mix perfectly with the white and black background on the Panda 3rd generation Google Pixel, right? The contrast makes it beautiful. When it's black, it just makes the car feel smaller, and it makes the car look all the same. Like I'm trapped in this black vinyl car, right? So exactly what has led to this, our beautiful death of the tan and walnut interior? EVs. EVs have taken our usual, normal, beautiful interiors and turned them into minimalist utopias for people that hate design, and no longer is an interior designed to be a comfortable, interesting place to be. It's designed to be an expression of art and the minimalism of your car, which doesn't end up working. These new interiors just don't work as well as they used to. Another point that I want to make, right? This Toyota Prius interior is designed to work perfectly. Everything is where you want it. Your arm, when you have your arm on the cup holder, when you have your arm on the armrest, it lays down right like that. It's on the shifter. The radio's right there. You can just lift it up, click something on the radio. All the ergonomics are perfect to work, right? And everything's easy. If I, even the subtle mute differences, right? If I want to open my glove box, all I have to do is push that or push that, and there's a top and rear one. Why is there a top and rear one? For more storage, right? For practicality. The Tesla has one gigantic screen you need to go through, like Microsoft menus and menus and menus and menus and menus, even to open your own glove box. It's just not practical. And, in the Toyota Prius, you have things that are designed to work. I have my, heated seat controls done there. Not so great in the ergonomics department, but I have a place to put my bag, which I've used several times to, hide things from possible burglaries or stealers, right? You have cup holders that are easy to reach. You have a nice interior. In the Tesla, instead of having anything like that, anything to place anything or store anything, of course, like the modern car culture, you have dual wireless charging pads. Thank God we have those. So useful. In fact, I'd rather have one of those, the ones where you click it and then it opens it up with the storage, than just have a shitty suede, phone charger. Because you want to know what? In my Prius, I have a cord. I know, it's going to blow your mind. I have a cord that gets plugged in down there, and I leave it plugged in, and then I plug in my phone. And also, wireless charging isn't good. It's not good. It sucks. It charges slowly, it makes the phone hot, and it sucks, right? Plug your phone in like a normal person. You don't need wireless charging, and you don't need double wireless chargers, right? If that doesn't talk about the state of the car, industry, how we need dual wireless, not one, but two dual wireless chargers in your car. You need that. You need that, right? And again, Toyota's wireless chargers, they're in the glove box. You're not looking at them. They are propped up perfectly so you can look at them while driving. But, usually I would call them out for this and say it's an incident, but actually you'll be more distracted by this than anything you'll be able to fit in those tiny little wireless charging things, right? And it's not even just with EVs. This is poured into regular cars. Like on Tesla, you can even have your hideous black suede that's going to stain instantly, or your white that won't stain but feels shitty, and it feels like those bus vinyl seats. Just, ugh. And like the BZ4X, the only option is black. It's like that Thomas, it's like that common iconic Ford statement, like you can have your Model T in any other color you want as long as it's black, which is also not true. They came in many colors, but that's kind of how it is nowadays. And this isn't just, these EVs, these modern design cars. This is everyday cars. This is a Volkswagen Jetta GLI, and the only trim color is grigio, which is gray with red crust. I don't think Google Translate is on. Just weird. And yeah, look at that. Ugly. Everything's black. There's no difference here. I mean, it's sporty, I guess, but I would much rather have, like in the Prius, a second storage unit than a vent that goes across the entire dashboard for some reason, right? They're thinking styling has to be useless, which it doesn't, right? And even the Toyota Camry, the Camry is like a car that shapes the world. The Camry is the car that shapes the world. The Camry is the world. The Camry is the car industry. And the only two colors you can have it in is black and red. So you're telling me that if I want to spend $36,000 on a top trim level Toyota Camry, I can't get tan or walnut. My only two options are black and a red interior. Now you may think, oh, idiot. On the XLE trim, it's going to be different because the XLE is more luxury and the XSE is more sporty. And yet it's still just gray and black. Gray and black, that's it. You can either have it in black or you can have it in gray. That's the only difference. This is the first annoying one of these trends. Bring back the tan interior. It doesn't look old. It's functional, right? Again, just because it's stylized doesn't mean it doesn't have to work. Number two, the second most just annoying thing that I've seen, and it's the replacement of big engines with smaller V4s, right? The V8s and V6s of our Camrys and Corollas and RAV4s are, dissipating into the mist, right? Turning into humidity, just a shadow, right? We're not seeing them anymore. We just have V4s now. It seems like that's the only option. So why are we using V4s now, and how does that affect the cars, right? Why are we so dead set on using these V4 engines, right, rather than a V6 or a V8, something that the car probably needs, as this Subaru Crosstrek has a V4 engine. That's right, this gigantic wagon, already a big sedan, the Legacy is a big sedan, with a wagon butt added onto it, is running on a V4. So exactly how is that happening? Well, here I have a 2010 Volvo S80 all-wheel drive V8 and an all-wheel drive that i6 all-wheel drive. And we can just see the differences, right? Bigger engine, worse fuel economy, smaller engine, slightly better fuel economy, and they're so close in horsepower numbers. So close. For one of them having two more cylinders, that's very, very, very close. Only 30, exactly 30 horsepower off. So how are they getting this efficiency, this horsepower, and this stuff out of these smaller engines to compensate for bigger engines? Transmissions and turbochargers. Automatic transmissions are great, but they're not all that. They're great. Don't throw rocks. Don't stone me to death yet. They're great. But when it comes to speed and efficiency, CVTs beat them out. Continuously variable transmissions are transmissions that can constantly change their gear ratio depending on what the engine is doing. Therefore, getting the most bang for your buck in terms of engine revving, gas consumption, and all of that. That's why CVTs are just more used nowadays, right? Just because they're more efficient than the automatic transmissions. That alone will give you some better performing engine and some better gas mileage. Another thing is the turbocharger. A turbocharger allows your engine to be faster by allowing more air into the engine for combustion, right? That's essentially what they do. So what they're doing is, instead of having these big engines that have the proper power, they're strapping CVTs onto these engines to, number one, make it faster, number two, make it more efficient, and then they're strapping turbochargers to make sure they're getting every single ounce of power that engine can make. So instead of using an appropriately sized engine, they're using a much smaller one for a bigger car like the Toyota RAV4 and even bigger Subaru Outback, and just strapping these things to them. So how does it end up? Well, here is two of them. This is the Touring and the Touring XT. And we can see, the Touring gets better gas mileage, the XT doesn't, because remember, more air in the engine, going faster, using more gas, right? So we've got just the standard Boxer 4-cylinder and then the 2.4-liter turbocharged Subaru Boxer. It's even down 0.1 liter from the regular Boxer. That's for reasons, and this is also turbocharged. So that's just what they're doing. They're just getting rid of the V8s, the V6s, and they're making these V4s with CVTs that can already get more efficiency and more speed out of them, and then strapping turbochargers to make sure that the engine itself is going faster. It's sad, I really like the V8 system, and a lot of the reason why we're seeing the death of the V8 is hybrids, right? Hybrids, when Toyota started experimenting with the hybrid synergy drive system and CVTs, Toyota found something out. They found that smaller engines can be used a lot more. Remember, they were just looking for efficiency. That's all they cared about. They didn't care about speed, they didn't care about anything and they accidentally created a beast. They found out that if you strap a CVT to an engine, it'll become faster and more efficient, which is what Toyota likes. That's why the Prius All Prai have a CVT, right? It helps the engine, and it also has the correct circumstances to allow the hybrid synergy drive system do its job and blend the motor and the engine nicely rather than jerking like the older ones did, right? The pre-production model versions did. So, and then over the years, they started putting turbochargers on them, right? And then just putting smaller engines. It's a hell of a lot cheaper to put a CVT and a turbocharger and then make a V4 into a V6, right? That's why we're seeing these deaths. That's why the Subaru Outback is now running on a turbocharged V4 with, of course, a Lineatronic CVT. That's what they're doing. They're just trying to get the most efficiency out of these smaller engines, which, depending on how you take it, this can be a good or bad thing. I just don't want the V8 to die, which, fortunately, Ford and Toyota seem pretty committed to. No. Crossovers. These stupid mini things, this is of course number 3, the third most annoying thing, our small, tiny, affordable, good, halfway decent cars are being replaced with these useless piles of crap. It's just the companies taking a Kia Rio, making it a little bit more boxy, giving it all-wheel drive, which it has no business needing at all, and then putting big old stubby tires on it, and that's this piece of crap. Like, seriously, and people can't, the most annoying part is, right, bad things happen all the time, and it's not annoying, it's just bad, but when people fall for them, like scams, it's like, and it's blatantly obvious, right, it's not one of those, like, YouTube's contacting you and telling you to delete your channel. No, it's literally, click on this link to get 24 free houses or whatever, right, and that's the most annoying part. People actually buy these thinking they're worth something, right, they get excited for these, and it's like, why? They're not good. They're just a Kia Rio. They're crappy. They're crappy cars. They set on fire. They're cheap. And like with Ford the EcoSport, it's even using a car door disguised as a rear. Like, they actually dug. They dug into this thing and looked at it, and they found out that this door is just one of the regular car doors, just with the handle in a slightly different place. They are building these things so incredibly, disgustingly cheap that they're even using actual doors as the rear hatch just to save on money. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And they're even undersizing the elements that it needs, which is, again, ridiculous. So the one of the most annoying things is these small cars. They are just bad. And also, there comes the discussion of ground clearance versus all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and rear-wheel drive. If you have high ground clearance, you don't need all-wheel drive. You can just get standard front-wheel drive. That'll be fine in the snow. That'll be fine all the time, and it'll be great, right? And yet these car companies are giving it shitty ground clearance, these really small, close to the ground vehicles, and then giving it all-wheel drive. Like, just because it has all-wheel drive doesn't mean that it's going to be good in the snow or off-roading, right? People take that as a given. Oh, it has all-wheel drive, it's going to be good off-roading. That's not how it works, right? If it's shitty and small like this with bad ground clearance, that's just not how it works. So with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And boy, did I get mad, because this is just so annoying.